So I was preparing here a very short introduction for this debate, but anyway, I think that the introduction has been done regarding the importance of the European Bauhaus and what we are going to explore here. Indeed, it is in more detail what it is, what could be and what it is already, the connection between the European Bauhaus and the Bean framework. Anyway, just to highlight about the Green Deal and the green transition, that in fact the European Bauhaus, it is one additional layer that was introduced a couple of years ago at European policy level, because it brings new elements that are very important to this green transition. They bring the aesthetic, the sustainability, the social inclusion, and this is too much. This has too much to do with our ongoing work, because we tried during these last 4 years creating social impact across European historic urban areas, and social development also, and economic development. So I'm not going to more in deep with this introduction, and I'm going to, over the next 40 minutes, we are going to talk with these three fantastic speakers. You don't count, right? I'm joking. Now, Soléne, I would like to ask you if you could share some insights and more detailed information and the vision about European Bauhaus.
Okay, does this work? Yeah. Thank you so much, Vera, and thank you to the Hubin partners for putting the European Bauhaus in the agenda of today's conference. I thought that maybe since we'll be talking heritage throughout the day, it could be good to start with the name to explain the idea, to really understand where, what's the goal and the objective of the European Bauhaus. So, of course, as Carlos already mentioned, European Bauhaus, or was it Sophia? One of you mentioned the connection with the old school of Bauhaus, founded in Weimar more than 100 years ago. But why this reference? It's not about a style of design. It is about an approach. It is about how this school managed to be innovative in challenging times. The school brought together artists, architects, engineers, and tried to use the new materials at hand to blend the new with the traditional techniques and to change ways of thinking and doing. This brought innovation in design, but also social innovation with the idea to make beauty and quality accessible to the largest numbers. And in the same way, we find ourselves in maybe multiple crises, but let's say an environmental crisis. And we need to work together across the outlines of disciplines to be innovative, to work with new materials, create new processes, and make sure that sustainable clothes, sustainable housing and cities are desirable and accessible, affordable. So this is how, this is the idea that led the Commission President to launch the new European Bauhaus in 2020. So, of course, it is part of a broader effort to promote and advance the European Green Deal. And the objective is to ensure that the green transition is also a cultural and social transition that is positive, inspirational, inclusive, and attractive. To do that, the European Bauhaus builds on 3 core values: sustainability, environmental sustainability, social inclusion, and beauty or quality of experience. It also builds on 3 working principles: transdisciplinarity, this will speak to you, multi-level engagement, so cooperation at multiple levels of governance, and again, something that will speak very much to you, participation. So, yeah, now 3 years in, where is the new European Bauhaus? What have we achieved? We have first built a community. we launched the new European Bauhaus with 6 months of co-design process that brought together individuals and organizations from all over Europe. These organizations have stuck with us and helped us build an engaged and active community that now counts more than 1,500 members, from businesses to NGOs, research centers, universities, local authorities. And again, the idea is to work together beyond the sectors, beyond the disciplines, and try shared best practices, build knowledge at a European level, and learn from each other. So this is the first thing that is really at the core of the initiative and keeps on pushing us further. Then in time we also got the buy-in and active participation of member states at multiple levels, from the national level where we cooperate with our national contact points, and also from the regional level where more and more regions are incorporating new European Bauhaus criteria in their own call, using, for example, cohesion funds. So that's another important thing. And then we worked at European level to mainstream the NEB approach in different policy fields, have goals dedicated to the NEB or referencing the NEB, making it a criteria in digitalization, in cultural and creative sector, in education, and so on. Because again, the new European Bauhaus is an approach, it's this transversal, integrated vision for the green transition. This work amounted to close to 400 million euros spent for the new European Bauhaus over the past 3 years, and a little more than 500 projects all over Europe, from large-scale projects that bring together different cities across borders, to much smaller scale projects that were, for example, awarded new European Bauhaus prizes. We also developed tools that we try to make available to those who need it, to help public procurement be more innovative, to convince investors that there's an economic added value in investing in projects that are integrated, that get the acceptance of communities on the ground, and so on. We recently worked with the European Investment Bank for that and have a guidance that just came up in July. So all these projects are available, all these tools are available. And finally, we keep on trying to raise awareness. We've had 2 festivals to which I think have been participated. We try to be there in cultural events that matter, where our community is gathered. The Architecture Biennale, the Osaka International Expo next year. So that's also a part of the European Bauhaus's effort to mainstream this integrated approach to the green transition. Then, as the NEB has demonstrated its added value, and as the community keeps on growing, it became clear that it needed a new framework, a dedicated instrument to keep on supporting projects and meet expectations at a different level, and not only support new innovation, but also help projects scale up, accompany projects in their next phase. And for that, the European Commission launched the NEB facility this year. The NEB facility is the first multi-annual financial instrument dedicated to the NEB. It will accompany the initiative from 2025 to 2027. It has a narrower focus than the NEB at large, which will continue working in different ways. And this focus is on the built environment. We know that it's the elephant in the room of climate change, that the construction sector needs to change if we want to reach the goal of the European Green Deal. But it is also a space where we can do maybe a better job at working with communities, at making sure that people have a say in what their living spaces look like. So the NEB facility has overall objectives of transforming places with communities at the level of neighborhood, and enhancing local democracy and the acceptance of the Green Deal. Supporting innovation in the construction sector with more circular regenerative materials, processes, and enabling change in trying to make sure that the conditions are there to support innovative, different types of more integrated projects, that the fundings and the business models, let's say, are there to enable change. And the NEP facility is anchored in Horizon Europe. It has two components, a research and innovation component. So on this we have a fixed budget. It's 120 million per year from 2025 to 2027, which means we will have the capacity every year to come up with calls that are directly in line with the European Bauhaus's ideas and inspired by its community. We have launched a phase of consultation earlier this year, and we make sure that the calls that we design not only respond to a need, but also are well designed to target those who want to make change happen, no matter if they are the unusual suspect of Horizon Europe calls, let's say. And the pendant of this R&I component is the rollout component. So a component where we try and bring together funding from various sources. Again, we continue this work, working with 9 different EU programs and also national and private funding to take project to the next step. So work on scaling, supporting the scale-up of projects, work on accompanying their market uptake and making sure that, you know, this death valley of innovation is not the on the way of innovative NEB solutions. So that's a little bit for the near future, and I will stop here. We can talk about it more later.
I think that we will have opportunity in another panel today exactly. To speak a bit more in terms of these instruments. Yeah. Thank you, Soléne. Brian. Hello. How do you think that those principles that are already embedded in our project, but can you clarify a bit what is this connection between the NEP principles and the ABIN framework, particularly in terms of heritage-led regeneration? Please.
I'll certainly try, thank you. Just to introduce myself, some of you know me, but obviously a lot of you don't. Brian Smith, I run a network called Heritage Europe, which is an association of historic towns and regions across Europe. We were created 25 years ago by the Council of Europe, so we're celebrating our anniversary this year. Our purpose is really to promote the interests of historic towns and regions through sharing good practice in their sustainable management. My eyes lit up when President von Leyen announced the new European Bauhaus initiative, because it spoke so directly to the work we've been doing over those 25 years. And we became a very early official partner. I think we were partner 13, hopefully lucky for some. And that was in May of 2021. It's become a much bigger family now, as we've heard. But we've been quite active, and we became a partner in the Hub-In project, which is a very timely project in terms of our development and the needs as we perceive them of historic urban areas in Europe. Hubs of innovation were part of, as you've heard, a research and innovation from Horizon 2020. But there were 3 projects actually funded at that moment, Centrino and T-Factor, along with Hub-In. And that gave us a platform to make a submission to NEB, which was welcomed. And indeed, we contributed to the design stage. We've contributed to the delivery phase, being present, this is Hubin in particular, being present at both festivals in 22 and 24. So we do feel part of that larger family. As a research project, Hubin is trying to unlock innovation and entrepreneurial actions. And that's what we'll demonstrate today. That will be our main, I suppose, focus, if you like. There's an important document on our website, the Hubin website, which is a framework, and it sets out not just claiming we align with NEB principles and values, because that's the easy bit, but actually demonstrating what those values are that we've been following through. And the strand, I haven't got time to go through everything in this short presentation, but the strands really touch on heritage, climate, and, as you would expect, innovation. But it's really the strap line, when my eyes lit up, it was the word beauty. This was new to our collective thinking. And where would you say it was more beautiful than Europe's historic towns and regions? It is such an important part of Europe's identity globally. And our aspiration, and NEB's aspiration, this is the important point, I think, is to go beyond buildings, but reflecting the importance of place. Not just in terms of design, as Soléne, I think, said, but really critically in terms of a sense of belonging. And this will be demonstrated time and time again through the course of the day. Sustainability is at the heart of all that Hubin has been doing, because it focuses on placemaking, but not just placemaking in terms of the place, but the people and lifestyles. The focus of this project has been around co-creation and creativity. And this is where beauty is such an important part of what we're doing and what this project is delivering, because art and the creative industries have emerged as the really important catalyst for broader regeneration. And again, you will see examples throughout the day. And finally, inclusivity. Hubin has really broken new ground in this how to become inclusive and to build, to reach into the ecosystem and really connect with stakeholders. And I would say, we'll be demonstrating this today, this is really a key part of Hubin's contribution. And lastly, we have always had the ambition that this would not be a one-off project, that we would be able to take it forward, because essentially we built up a knowledge platform already, and it's really important that carries on. So it's great to hear the direction that the new European Bauhaus, and indeed Horizon, is now moving. A recognition that these projects are unfinished business, however well they manage to achieve things in 4 years. Regeneration of places is a long-term commitment, a long-term process. So I would say Hubin goes much further than aligning, which it clearly does, with NEB principles and values. But it's providing a whole series of tools and methods that are practical contribution to achieving NEB, as it were, on the ground. So, shall I finish now, Vera?
Yes, please.
Let me finish with the 35th, sorry, not the 75th or the soon-to-be 77th President of the United States, but the 35th, J.F. Kennedy. And he made a famous speech, which I'll sort of be true to. This is to you all. Ask not only what NEB can do for hubs of innovation, but also what hubs of innovation can do for NEB. Thank you.
Thank you. So you told Brian that regeneration process is a long-term process. Regeneration, it is a long-term process. And I will pick this idea, that it is also alongside our conference today, to ask Margarida, as a national contact point for European Bauhaus, what could be the connection between the European Bauhaus and projects like this, ABIN project?
Okay, so thank you very much for the invitation. First of all, I'm very glad to be here. As you mentioned, I'm national contact point for European Bauhaus at ANI, National Agency for Innovation, but I'm actually also a national contact point for Horizon Europe, the biggest program from Europe, from the Commission to support research and innovation. Well, the successor of H2020, which you know. So I thought of going very much to the point of opportunities that I thought under European Bauhaus and then under Horizon Europe that could fit you and Habin and the audience. And some of them have already been mentioned by Carlos, very well introduced. So under the European Bauhaus, which is an initiative and not a funding program per se, there's opportunities for entities to become either NEB friends or NEB partners. So this is at entity level, and this is a tool that does not have funding in itself, but gives you visibility, and then you become part of a community and you can be involved and have a say in the initiative of European Bauhaus. Then there is this initiative under European Bauhaus that is called NEB Lab. Its aim is to have concrete, replicable, tangible results. It requires transdisciplinarity and also cross-borders approach. So you need a consortium, an international consortium. You need to align with NEB values, NEB principles. We already established here that you're very much aligned with NEB. And it's a good initiative in the European Bauhaus that I think maybe could be an opportunity for Habin. However, it does not have funding in itself. It has other perks. And then, as already mentioned by Soléne, from 2025 forward till 2027, there is now a framework called NEB Facility, in which you have assured funding for research and innovation anchored in Horizon Europe. This means that there is a dedicated work program. There will be topics dedicated to European Bauhaus. As Soléne also said, with a focus in built environment, but there are three, let's say, aspects. So there is local democracy and green transformation. There is circular and regenerative approaches for the built environment. And then we're going to have opportunities for new approaches, new business models, new funding models for neighborhoods. So what's coming up in 2025 is very much established. So there will be topics, and they will be known in April-ish 2025, with the deadline in September of 2025. There are also opportunities in Cluster 2, Culture, Creativity and Inclusive Society of Horizon Europe, so out of the scope of NEB, but it's also a program that you could and should look into, as well as Cluster 6, which has a lot of names in it, but there is a part of that program that is dedicated to communities. So that could also be an interesting program for you to study. So I would say keep an eye on opportunities for 2025. You might need to, these are very much top-down, this is a top-down approach from the Commission. So that means that what is going to be funded, it's already established. Once the work programs are out there, you need to provide solutions to what the Commission wants. So this is one way for you to, in 2025, you look at work programs, you say, okay, I could fit this idea, these solutions here, and maybe other parts and other ideas in another part of the program. And then being very honest, I would also say for you to mobilize as a consortium, as international partners, and think, what opportunity do I need in 2026 and 2027? What do I need to see in the work programs of those 2 years to fund our project? How do you give continuity to Hubin? This is how you do it. You need to identify what you have and how you want to go forward. And then you reach out to your delegates. I'm one of them in Portugal. For your colleagues in other countries, I can help identify, but you reach to your delegates and you say, we have this, how can this happen for Horizon Europe? And you think of a topic that would fit you. And this is not happening in a long time future. We are going to kickstart 2026, 2027 very soon. So you need to do this now to have an opportunity only in 2026. For the European Bauhaus, the same. We could have maybe in the European Bauhaus work program such a topic that would fit you. You can talk to me. You can talk to Soléne, maybe. This is just a hint. Sorry to put you in this position, but this is how you do it, actually. And so this is how I see opportunities for Hubin, for the people here. As national contact point and delegate, our job, I represent Portugal, but there are colleagues of mine that represent European Bauhaus in the other member states and associated countries. Our job as national contact points is to support entities at all stages, so telling you what opportunities are out there, help you write proposals, find the opportunities, answer your questions. This is our job, this is what we do. And as delegates, we try to understand what are we identify the needs of the research and innovation community, and then we try to convey them to the Commission, representing our countries. So I think I can speak for my European colleagues. We are here to help you. I hope I answered your questions.
Thank you very much, Margarida. I think that applause. Those are very good news, and this is really a call to action to all of us. That's what we would like to share here. So, and very timely, because we have a lot of insights that the people outside consortium are going to learn today, and a lot of learnings and contents that we prepared and that we evolved during these 4 years. So we are in a good position to act and to run, to prepare other applications and other proposals built on this work that we did so far. Now it's time to ask some questions, to leave some space to questions and answers. And I would like to invite you to ask a few questions. Who wants to start? Helena. João is going. The microphone. Thank you, João.
Thank you so much for the very interesting contributions. My question about the new European Bauhaus initiatives and opportunities is about the kind of discussion about affordable housing, social inclusion, and also the populist backlash in Europe, which is partly, I think, also coming out of this feeling of not feeling included, not feeling this sense of belonging anymore, because things are getting too expensive, and especially in relation to the built environment. I would be interested to know how this has been captured in the new calls. So kind of this, I'm not sure if it's possible to have kind of almost like a political situation also included in these calls, but how is this idea of, you know, really more radical social inclusion in the housing market included in the Bauhaus calls?
Who wants to address? Soléne.
I can start. Yeah, of course, this has been a very strong conversation, and the new European Bauhaus has been increasingly linked to social housing, including with the new Commission. We've had several projects under Horizon Europe and the Single Market that were directly looking into social housing. And the way we keep on working on those questions are by making sure that we also have calls that, again, bring communities on board from the earliest stage of a project, and have a functioning local democracy, and make sure that people also have access to alternative housing models. So cooperative models where you are more than the recipient of a project, but you have a voice throughout the project. Then really when it comes to the affordability of social housing and all the energy poverty aspects and so on, what the Commission is also trying to look at is changing the supply. It's not only, it's trying to have a stronger housing supply with new construction processes. For example, I mean, off-site construction we know has great impact on being more sustainable and also reducing the cost and improving the efficiency of building. So on those things we're looking both, like at the same time as at architectural sufficiency, making sure that we make the most of existing building and that we focus on renovation, and at the same time, yeah, better supplying housing with new processes, taking on board sustainable materials and so on. So that is a little bit at the core, is completely at the core of the NEP facility, both on the innovation side and on the community and people-centered side of housing. I don't know if that's...
I will just complement a bit, I think. Yes, so for 2025 there is a specific topic for social housing, but from the, let's call it technical side, so more on having materials and techniques that could be used for social housing, but that are green, that are sustainable, that are affordable. There has been mentioning, while talking to the Commission in the process of consultation and negotiation of the work program, of having a topic dedicated to social housing from other angles, approaching other aspects. But I think, as Soléne said, there are other aspects being envisaged, at least in the work program for 2025 for European Bauhaus. I don't know other initiatives and other programs, that you could use social housing as a focus, as a case study under this bigger umbrella like supply chain or other. So depending on each topic, you could say social housing is important. And as a case study or a thing to study under a bigger topic. And I would also suggest, again, keep on talking to the Commission. The Commission will continue to do consultations to NAP facility. They did it already. They did it to the work program. I have to say that the team of European Bauhaus is really constantly consulting the community, and this is the way they work. So if the community says this is important, they will hear you out, hear you out, and they will consider. So I think just keep addressing this if you see this as important. I think the Commission will listen.
Thank you, Margarida. I think that we have space for one more question. Anyone wants to? No doubts. Too many doubts. Okay, so if we don't have any doubt now at the moment, I think that we can close this debate, this session, and just to wrap up, so just to highlight that let's going on with this conversation and bringing together different stakeholders, and highlighting also that this is a call to action, and it is a very optimistic message to go ahead with our projects without losing what we have done so far. Thank you very much.